What if I told you a creature with a brain smaller than a sesame seed can solve problems faster than a modern supercomputer? A bee should not understand mathematics. It doesn't have a giant brain. It lives for barely a few weeks. And yet, scientists discovered something impossible. Imagine flying through a megacity the size of a continent, using only the energy inside a single drop of soda. That is the survival challenge a honeybee faces every single day. If it wastes energy wandering, it dies. Its tiny body carries only enough fuel for mathematically perfect movement. To survive, it has to minimize its route across hundreds of changing targets. Inside this video, you'll discover how bees turn trigonometry into dance, how a swarm behaves like a giant living brain, and why our understanding of the human mind is being challenged by a garden insect. If you enjoy cinematic documentaries uncovering the hidden realities of our planet, subscribe to WonderDoc Studio, because the world is far stranger than it looks. Inside the bee's compound eyes are thousands of tiny lenses called ommatidia. As the bee flies, the landscape rushes across these lenses like a movie reel. The brain counts how quickly the image of the world moves past. Scientists call this optic flow. If the wind blows against her, the world moves slower across her eyes, so her brain calculates that she needs to fly harder. It is an analog motion sensor, calculating distance purely through the speed of light hitting photoreceptors. But seeing distance is only half the problem. She still needs to navigate. Inside the very center of the bee's tiny brain, there is a cluster of neurons called the central complex. This is her internal compass. As she flies, specialized cells in her eyes detect polarized light, invisible patterns of sunlight filtering through the clouds. The central complex takes this light data and uses it to map out absolute direction. It creates a real-time mathematical grid of the sky inside her head. Every flight is an active vector calculation. We look closer at the hive. When a scout bee finds a field of flowers, it returns to the pitch-black interior of the hive and performs the waggle dance, a frantic, vibrating movement shaped like a figure 8. For generations, humans thought this was simple instinct. Then researchers decoded the data stream. The angle of the dance relative to absolute vertical precisely matches the angle of the flowers relative to the sun. The duration of the vibration encodes the exact distance, 1 millisecond for every meter. If the sun moves while the bee is dancing inside the dark hive, it mathematically shifts its angles to account for the Earth's rotation. The bee is literally translating a three-dimensional landscape into a two-dimensional moving equation. No maps, no GPS, no spoken language, just calculus hidden inside motion. But the story becomes even stranger. In 2018, scientists pushed these insects to the absolute limit. They trained bees to enter a maze where colors acted as mathematical symbols. Blue shapes meant add 1, yellow shapes meant subtract 1. The bees weren't just memorizing a path. They were executing an abstract rule. They consistently flew toward the correct arithmetic answers. A creature with a brain weighing less than a raindrop had learned arithmetic. And the deeper scientists looked, the more unbelievable it became. Bees measure travel distance using optic flow, calculating how fast the world rushes past their eyes, much like a human driving through dense fog. They can recognize facial symmetry. And most shocking of all, experiments show they understand the concept of zero. For a bee, reality is mathematics. Every flower is a resource calculation. Every headwind is a vector. Every wrong turn is death. One bee alone is tiny, but thousands together create a superorganism capable of solving impossible problems. A bee hovering in a field of wild clover is not merely searching for food, it is a living equation with wings. And perhaps the strangest part of all, long before humans ever invented mathematics, nature was already using it to hold the world together.